Welcome back, and time now for our weekly legal segment here on Midday Maryland. You have a lawyer with Saiontz and Kirk. Joining us now, Scott Goldstein with Saiontz and Kirk. Thanks so much for being here again, Scott.
Always good to see you, Wyatt.
Well, today we want to talk about a couple things. Number one, we want to get into medical malpractice, but secondarily, some of the stories or cases in point that you could illustrate what transpired. So first off, let's delve into malpractice for a second.
Well, malpractice is sometimes an unfortunate byproduct of the need for medical care. When medical providers fail to meet the standard of care, they fail to provide the care in the manner in which it's intended, then you can be the victim of malpractice. And when you are the victim of malpractice, many times it's a very difficult thing to deal with because it can have long-term consequences, sometimes lifetime consequences. And a lawyer's assistance can help you to find out and gain compensation for medical treatment going wrong.
We've talked about it in the past. I mean, if you have any even sneaking suspicion, something doesn't seem quite right, that's the time to reach out to, for instance, Saiontz and Kirk and make a call and see what the expert opinion is.
That's absolutely true. And in this day and age, when you have free consultations, you have the availability of information just at the other end of an email, at the other end of a phone call. So the smart thing to do is to reach out to find out whether or not there are legal remedies that can be brought into place to help you to deal with a difficult situation.
Never hurts to check and call. Let's personalize this just a little bit. Now, this is amazing. We were talking about this right before the segment. You could, for instance, find yourself in an accident, transported to medical care, and then potentially even have bad medical treatment. I mean, this is like a combination of bad luck, it would seem, but you say it's not all that uncommon.
It happens, unfortunately. I mean, it is the proverbial adding sort of insult to injury, no pun intended, and it does happen. When you are in the need for emergency care, you're, number one, typically not getting to select the healthcare provider because you are thrust into the situation and dealing with whatever healthcare provider is available to you at that time. So it's not like the careful, slow approach where you interview several different orthopedic surgeons and decide who it is that you want to have perform your procedure. You're at the liberty of whoever is available sometimes. If you're taken to an excellent medical facility, you have great chances of getting great quality care and a good result. Sometimes, unfortunately, though, there are unintended consequences, and when those unintended consequences strike you, you've got to be prepared to do something about it.
It's something you don't think about, but you may just go wherever the ambulance takes you, wherever the accident occurred, and it could be anyone or anywhere. Do you have a story you can share? Maybe someone you've helped that was in an accident and things really changed for the better once they reached out?
Well, there are multiple different instances where we can really be a big help. And one of the things, for example, we represented an individual who was driving home from work one night. He was involved in a serious motor vehicle accident. He sustained a particularly devastating injury to him, which was an open fracture of his lower right leg and ankle. He required extensive surgery to repair the orthopedic injuries, and he also had significant problems with wound because the wound became infected. Ultimately, the negligent party didn't have the best of insurance. Throughout the course of the case, we were able to learn that the negligent party was in fact acting on behalf of his employer at the time. We were able to prove that and demonstrate that the employer's insurance was in play, and it provided significant compensation to our client at the conclusion of the case that helped him to deal with the massive medical bills that he incurred through no fault of his own. So in that case, the hard work of our lawyers resulted in the best possible result for the client.
Just one of many stories, I'm sure. Scott, thanks so much for coming in. Important topic. Just one more reason to reach out if you have even the slightest doubt you need representation. Thanks for being here, Scott. And coming up, we'll have much more Midday Maryland, including the deadline for healthcare enrollment. It's straight ahead.